to go post.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in the Shark Tank.
What's going on,
baby?
Wow! Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween indeed. In fact, I forgot to even load up a Halloween background. That's my bad. All right, well, it's Halloween week. In fact, next week, I think we'll be coming on actually right at Halloween. So we might have to do the show on Monday and play it on Halloween night because we got lots of fun things to do on Halloween. But speaking of, welcome into the studio, the commish, Freddie Reyes. Welcome in, my friend.
What a good week in the LSFL. Oh, fellas, the top is good. They starting to separate themselves, people. Starting to separate. Better watch our teams.
Yeah, it's starting to get really interesting in the LSFL. Like I said, we're in the halfway point. The big thing is with the bye week starting. That's when you really start to see when teams. Here we go. I can get a Halloween. There we go. Yeah, so, it's interesting to see how these teams, who steps up, who's going to step down, all that kind of good stuff. But let's get into it. Let's talk about this past week first. Let's bring up the scoreboard. Sharks taking it to the Bucks. We talked about this, though, last week. It's just one of those things that the Bucks got unlucky this week. Had a lot of people on bye. And fortunately for me, I didn't really have anyone on bye this week. So lucked out there. Grimace, eked out a win. And if you're talking about eking one out, this is where you eke one out. 72.55 to 71.5. You cannot get any closer than this. Big mistakes here. Salvador Achman for the Rattlers. He had a lot of people on bye. I'm looking at his roster. He almost had every freaking buddy on the bye. So might have made a mistake picking up Achman, playing him that week, but it is what it is. Christian Watson got hurt for the Grimace. He had Jahmyr Gibbs in his flex, so that was big for him this week. So hats off to Ken trying to make a little run of things. Goats pulled off a huge win over the Eldorados. He's been you both have actually, the Goats and the Jesters are the hottest teams in the league right now. 86.1 to 76.8. That was a big win for the Goats, putting them pretty much right in that upper echelon of the AFC right now. Jesters, look at this, 108.5. The what happened to these Jets? 64, 75. We're not even in the hundreds. What's going on, Eric? Let's pull up the matchup, though, real quick. I can just see where his troubles were. Deshaun Watson got hurt. Madison has been a disappointment, and Calvin Ridley. We just got done talking about him on TSS. What a disappointment. He was like 90th receiver this week. So big disappointments there, I'm sure, really hurt. Travis Kelce, obviously, that's the big winner for Fred and Josh Downs. Fred's been listening to TSS. He knows all about it. Boston Massacre, 102.35 over the Dragons, 99. That was our game of the week this week. It was very close indeed. Came down. Look at Pat Mahomes, had such a big game for the Dragons. Disappointments with Swift and Cooper, and then Gabe Davis. That was a big one. Cole Kmet, 0 in that tight end spot.
0.
That hurts. You don't want zeros. You could take a point something like Gabe Davis, but damn. And then for Nick, look, this guy went with the Chicago Bears defense. Now that took a sack. And guess what? He got rewarded with 20 damn points. Wow. Big sack right there. Got it. Nailed it. Good job. Let's go to the Predators against the Bombers. You know what time of year it is, bro. It's getting towards the end. So Mike's about to Mayday, starting to go downhill. But the Predators, not for nothing. Great game this week and last week too. He was number 2, close to team of the week last week also, and finally gets that team of the week. And this week, since it's Halloween week, He is the monster of the Oh, that Nick Potter pick. I mean, the Willy Wonka. You just can't. And the best is the guy sitting with the pumpkins over here.
Uncle Nick.
Uncle Nick, yeah, Nick. I bet if you asked him for directions, he sure the hell would tell you. All right, that's enough of that. Good job, Nick. That was, like I said, 2 weeks in a row. Great work. All right, let's talk about the NFC picture now.
Ooh.
Look at that. The Jesters, by winning a conference game, have gone above the Dragons, who are now 0-1 in the conference. Look at 85% to make the playoffs. Win 4 in a row. Woo! Ooh, so right now, if the playoffs started today, it would be the Jesters on the bye. You'd have the Dragons. Nope. You'd have Dragons versus Predators in the play-in game. And then they would play the Massacre in the following week. So that's how it would start right now. Lots of time left, however, so teams are not out of it by any means. I mean, the Jets are only 3 games out. The Bombers only 2 games out. Not far at all. And there we go to the AFC. I kind of messed up the graphic there with the Rattlers. My bad. But he's 2-4. Sharks, the same situation as the Jesters, because they won a conference game. They're now ahead of the El Dorado, sitting at numero uno. Right now, if the playoffs start today in the AFC, we talked about the Goats, won 3 in a row. The Sharks actually would be the number 1 seed only because I have more points than him right now. So I would be on the bye, and it would be, looks like it would be the El Dorados against the, looks like the Bucks. It would be the Bucks. No, the Grimace. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so it'd be the El Dorados versus the Grimace for the play-in game, and they would wait the Goats. The Goats would await the winner of that. So that's the way it would set up now. God, the Grimace in the play. I didn't even realize that the Grimace are in the playoffs right now.
That is so bad. You got the Rattlers, the Grimace, and Bucks at 2-5.
Listen, Jose and AJ, if you let Ken get in these playoffs, man, I got to tell you, there's going to be something to it. All right, let's go to the power rankings. All right, so even though he lost, Dragon's still number 1, putting up a lot of points this year. Massacre right there. Jesters, you've been climbing and climbing and climbing. Now you're in the number 3 spot, sitting there chilling. El Dorados lost. They got knocked down a peg. I pretty much stayed where I was at number 5. The Predators, they're coming up. They're number 6. Goats as well, number 7. Bombers doing the nosedive at number 8. Bucks, Rattlers, Jets, and Grimace finish the power rankings, and they're all staying exactly the way they are. All right, well, Fred, let's get on and talk about this week.
Let's go this week,
buddy. Be interesting. And this is when games starting to really matter now. So let's go to the AFC first, and we'll talk about the Bucks versus the Grimace. Both these teams at 2-5. The Grimace lead the series 22-16. The Bucks won the last meeting last year, 130.4 to 79.2. The Grimace are 3-2 in the last 5 matchups, but the line says Bucks by 6. What does the commish say?
I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I don't think anybody's on a bye this week. Everybody's back to full strength, I believe. Am I right?
That's correct.
All right, yeah, and then AJ did win 2 Team of the Weeks. I think he was just a byproduct of the buys. I think this week he comes back strong, and I think the Grimace go down. They go into 2-6.
Yeah, I think he'll be at full strength this week. I like AJ as well. To come out, and I think he might end up being that play-in team. I'm surprised he's even at the 2-5, to be quite frank. All right, let's go back to the NFC. And we got a guy that's in your division, that 3-4 Bombers team, going against that Massacre from the Boston area. He is 5-2 right now, one of his better seasons. The Bombers lead the series overall 5-4. Bombers won the last meeting 143.5, 108.45. The Massacre are 3-2 in the last 5 matchups, and the line says Massacre by 8. What do you say, Commish?
This was a little bit more tougher. I mean, I like the way the Boston Massacre has been playing, but I never count Mike out. Sometimes he just throws up a Hail Mary. And this week, last week Burrow wasn't in, Higgins wasn't in, Lamb wasn't in, and he'll have them all back this week. I think Mike squeaks it out by 2 points, honestly.
I'm going to go with the Massacre, and it is because, yes, Burrow is back, but Burrow is facing those 49ers. So I don't really foresee a huge game in Joe Burrow, CD Lamb. The Rams have been kind of up and down, quite frankly, with their secondary. So, hey, he might have a good game there. I just see him struggling in the running back position, and obviously with Joe Burrow at the helm right now. So could be a bit of a struggle there. So I'll see the Massacre. They've been putting up big points this year too. It's nothing out of the norm. All right, let's get back to the AFC, and we'll talk about the Rattlers against the Goats. 2-5 Rattlers, 4-3 Goats, which surprised me that the Goats got here that quick. Goats lead the series 5-3. Goats won the last meeting 99.9 to 83.2. Goats are 3-2 in the last 5 matchups. Goats right now favored by 1. What do you say, Fred?
Oh man, I think I have to go with the Goats. They're red hot lately. Won 3 in a row. I'm looking at this Rattler team. No Montgomery, Chuba's all right. You just talked about Burrow to Chase. He had one big game. I just don't like the way that the Rattlers team is looking. It's just not impressive. So they need to do some work really quickly and hit that waiver wire because they got Washington's defenses in there going against Philly. So they definitely picking somebody up.
Yeah, he's hit the injury bug, unfortunately, with Montgomery hurt. Miles Sanders is
Connor.
hurt. Connors is hurt. He might be able to get Sanders back this week. Keontae Ingram ended up being nothing. So, hopefully if he can he's got Chuba Hubbard in. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. But right now, as you indicated, it's hard not to like this Goats team. They're hot right now. They're the team to beat. So right now I'm liking the Goats. All right, go back to the NFC. Let's talk about those Jets. 2-5 Jets. Surprising 2-5 Jets. The 4-3 Predators. Jets lead the series 11-5. Predators won the last meeting 120 to 110.6. Jets, they're 3-2 in the last 5 matchups. Predators favored by 6. What do you say, Commish?
Oh man, I don't know what the hell's going on with the Jets. This is scary. I haven't seen him in this type of position in a long time. Uh, um, he got superstars. It's not his lineup. He got Amar St. Brown, McCaffrey, Garrett Wilson. He got superstars. Eagles defense to just not performing at the right time together. So I think he's gonna pull it off this week. I do. I don't see the Jets staying down, even though Nick won Team of the Week. But I think the Jets pull it off.
Ooh, yeah, I normally would agree.
He got better matchups, I think.
I'm looking at Knicks. Yeah, he's got Lamar going against Arizona, and Andrews going against Arizona. Pacheco going against the Broncos. I really, and McLaurin I even like against the Eagles. I like the Preds matchups, and quite frankly, just not liking what the Jets have been doing this year. So believe it or not, man, it's going to be weird to see a 2-6 Jets.
Oh wow,
Predators team. That's going to be crazy to see, but get ready for it. All right, we got 2 games of the week this week as it's Halloween this week, and we got 4 teams, who are battling for the top spot in the conference. Let's go the AFC first. It's the America's team, the Orlando Sharks. I'm just kidding. 4-3 against the El Dorado. 4-3. Sharks lead the series barely, hanging on 10-9. El Dorado's won the last meeting, which was the AFC Conference Championship, 130 to 79.2. El Dorado's, they're 4-1 in the last 5 meetings. El Dorado's favored by 6. What do you say, Commish?
Wow, what a game. This is going to be a good one. Oh man, they both fighting here, 4-3, bitter rivals. I'm looking at the El Dorado's team. They have a couple of good matchups, Tua against New England, Mostert against New England. I hate the running back quarterback combo. Absolutely hate it. And he has the Dolphins. I hate when people do that. I'm going with the commish. That just pissed me off just looking at that. So yes, I am going with the Sharks for doing the defense running back quarterback combo.
Yeah, okay. So, obviously, Mangum with America's team, but quite frankly, Tua just that Patriots diva first matchup. He played, it was average. It was an average day for him. Same with Tyreek. So hopefully that remains the same. And Raheem Mostert, now he should bounce back this week from last week, but again, the Patriots defense is pretty decent. But we'll see. It's going to be a tough one. I'm obviously going to pick myself, but we shall see how it goes. All right, let's get to the other game of the scare of the week, I should say. And it's the 5-2 Dragons against the 5-2 Jesters. The Dragons lead the series 17-15. The Jesters won the last meeting 131.35 to 82.2. I had to re-look at this a few times. Jesters are 5-0 in the last 5 meetings. Again, I had to make sure I was reading this right. I don't know, Mike put that incorrectly. 5-0 in the last 5. You know what? I don't even know why I looked. While you're talking about your matchup, I want to look at this and see how far back.
Right, though. It's right. It's right.
I believe you. I just want to see it. I want to see if it goes to 6 or even. Let's see how far back the 5 goes. But talk about your matchup. Tell me who you
listen. Obviously, I have to pick myself. All due respect to the Dragons, they score a lot of points. But the only reason I didn't score a lot of points is the first 2 weeks of the season when half my team was out. I have some really good matchups with Allen against Tampa Bay, Hall against the Giants, Kamara against Indy, Waddle against New England, Thielen versus Houston. I mean, Kelsey against Denver. It doesn't get any better than the matchups I have right now. I'm going to pick myself. And if it's correct, that's going to be 6-0 in the last 6 matchups.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow. All right. Well, I mean, like I said, I'm looking at this. I'm trying to look at it as arbitrarily, and it's my two, but it's about as even as you can get. I mean, I'm looking at this game. It's really, really tough to pick a winner here. Pat Mahomes against sorry ass Denver. Like, how do you not like that? Travis Etienne, he's been great all year. Swift should bounce back. Cooper against Seattle. I mean, everything here looks good. Your Jets against the Giants. On your side again, great matchups. We just talked about Mahomes. Obviously, Kelsey going to be a big benefactor. That's an interesting little X factor you have with Mahomes, and you got his number one target. Josh Allen against Tampa, Breece Hall against the Giants. Had a good matchup there. There's a lot of good matchups for both of you. I mean, like I said, that's why I put that line as even, because quite frankly, that's about as even as you can possibly get. All right, let me look real quick. I got it here. I'm gonna look. Let's see how many in a row. All right, start out in 2019. It looks like is when the streak started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. Wow, Greg, it is time to tighten up. I didn't even realize this. Wow, 7, bro. Wait, so if you times that, but what is that? So that's at least three and a half years since he's beaten you. Wow. That's embarrassing. All right, Greg, tighten up. I know you're watching at least, so we appreciate it. Big week. Good luck to everyone. Look, it's halfway through. Get your shit together, as Craig says.
Everybody got to come on the show, man. I want to hear some info.
That's true. It was my fault. I had Nick lined up, and that was my fault because we had the whole whatever. I don't even remember what happened. But that was the scheduling thing was on me. So we'll get. You know what? Let's get whoever the team of the week is next week. We'll get them on. That was my fault.
Let's go.
We'll start doing that. The team of the weeks. Come on the show. We appreciate you. All right, guys. Good luck this week. Like I said, we're halfway through, so get those lineups and get your shit together. Good luck. We are out. Happy Halloween.